Tonight, a lewd act or a misunderstanding? Conflicting information raises questions about a video shot in front of a Winnipeg Catholic school. Also tonight, rolling ahead.
I find it's a pretty baffling position taken by the city.
What happens next as the city indicates it won't abide by a municipal board hearing on the future of Granite Curling Club. Plus, a grim discovery.
Over the past couple of weeks, the numbers have been going up more and more.
Locals and biologists react as dozens of geese are found dead and dying in Niverville.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
An alleged indecent act outside a Winnipeg Catholic school has left some staff and parents on edge tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The incident was witnessed by a parent who recorded it on video. CTV's Jeff Keel has seen that video and went looking for answers today. Jeff, what did you learn?
St. Ignatius School on Harrow sent an email to parents saying that a parent observed a man sitting in a parked vehicle in the school zone engaging in inappropriate behavior. The school principal tells CTV News the parent who witnessed the incident recorded a video. They believe it shows a lone individual in what might be a photo radar van engaging in a lewd act. CTV News has seen a short video of the alleged incident where a person is not visible and an up and down motion appears on screen. The principal says the incident is disturbing and it is clear in her mind what is happening in the video. She says as a result of this, staff at the school reviewed all of their safety protocols. She says police were called, they spoke to the individual, and a report was filed.
So, Jeff, what are police saying about this then?
The WPS sent a statement to CTV News. It says, on December 1st, 2025 at 11:56 a.m., Winnipeg police responded to a report of a male allegedly committing an indecent act in a vehicle near the 200 block of Harrow Street, close to a local school. Officers attended and spoke with all involved parties. An investigation was undertaken, including a review of video footage of the incident. The allegation was not substantiated. In response, the principal says she has the utmost trust in the Winnipeg Police Service.
All right. Thanks for this, Jeff. An investigation into a cyber security incident that happened a year ago at Pembina Trail School Division has wrapped up. It found the personal information of students and staff from as far back as 1999 could have potentially been put on the dark web. That information could include names, social insurance numbers, and personal health information. The division was formed in 2002, so if you were a student or staff member at a school which is now part of the division, you could be impacted. However, the division says the overwhelming majority of files found during its deep dive are from 2015 and later. The division says the cyber incident was resolved January 27th and says its system is secure. A man is recovering in hospital tonight after being shot through the window of a home. Police say it happened on Syndicate Street in Point Douglas around 7:40 Sunday morning. A 27-year-old man was hit by a bullet fired into the home. Officers on scene applied a chest seal before he could be taken to hospital in unstable condition, where we're told he remains tonight. The suspect or suspects made off in a vehicle before police arrived. Police say it's too early to say whether this was a targeted shooting. Anyone with information is asked to contact Major Crimes or Crime Stoppers. There is a new twist tonight in the ongoing Granite Curling Club saga. Manitoba's municipal board says the city has to come up with an adequate parking plan the curling club agrees with before an affordable housing complex can be built on the lot. But Winnipeg's mayor isn't buying in, saying it doesn't need its consent to proceed. To explain why, CTV's Taylor Brock joins us now live. Taylor, can the city move forward without Granite Curling Club first giving the project the thumbs up?
Well, Marilee, the city says it can. In a new report at City Hall, city administrators say the municipal board's decision is not legally binding. In that report, city staff say the province's municipal board can only make recommendations on the proposed zoning bylaws. Now, this all stems from a decision city council made earlier this year, giving the go-ahead to a proposal hoping to build an 11-story housing development. Now, what stirred up concerns from Granite Curling Club was the proposed location. It would be going up where the club's parking lot is. It's important to note the parking lot is owned by the city and Granite Curling Club leases the property from it.
The legal team has done their analysis on the municipal board and this ruling that they made, and has made the determination that the municipal board went beyond its scope. And so what we have before us today is a decision that we have to make.
The city's report is suggesting the city negotiate a new long-term lease with the curling club, one that includes an expanded area and dedicated on-site parking options. However, the mayor says their lease actually expired 7 years ago, and he says the parking issue should be dealt with through the lease renewal.
So what does Granite Curling Club think about the city's plan?
Well, they're baffled, merely. They don't believe the city can just ignore the municipal board's decision.
The municipal board recommendation, all it added was a condition that the city actually had to work with the Granite. So we were hoping the city would do that, but now they're taking this bizarre position that they can just ignore the municipal board.
The curling club says they are exploring all available options, including a potential legal battle, but is hoping they can reach a deal. They say there is space in the area that's available.
So when is the city expected to make a decision then about Granite Curling Club?
Well, it could be a little while, merely. The report and motion for the new plan will be discussed at the next Executive Policy Committee hearing on December 9th. However, any final decision will have to be voted on by the entire City Council.
All right, thanks for this, Taylor. Winnipeg's mayor is taking another step towards creating the city's 4th emergency services branch. It would be called the Winnipeg Community Crisis Response Service and be dedicated to mental health crises and well-being checks. The idea is to relieve some of the pressure on the other 3 branches. The mayor says often the increasing number of mental health related calls do not require police, fire, or paramedics. Scott Gillingham has now submitted a motion which would allow his office to work with a consulting firm on the nuances of the plan at a cost of about $228,000.
I don't have a date yet as far as when any program could be rolled out, but it's important that we look at this. Other cities are doing this. We want to get people the help that they need in mental health calls, and we want to alleviate some of the calls that police, fire, and paramedics are taking.
The mayor's office says well-being checks now make up the #1 call for service for police, totaling more than 21,000 calls last year. The Executive Policy Committee is expected to discuss the motion on Tuesday. A pair of city councillors want the city to consider compensating small businesses which are impacted by construction work. Councillors Sherry Rollins and Brian Mays have put forward a motion which would direct the public service to study the feasibility of such a program and how much it might cost. The motion cites a program in Montreal as an example where businesses can be subsidized for up to $40,000 annually for projects lasting at least 6 months. The Executive Policy Committee will consider the motion Tuesday. The city's annual winter parking ban route is now in effect, and it means no parking on designated streets between 2 and 7 a.m. You should be on the lookout for both winter route and snow route signs, even if the road is clear and it is not snowing. The fine for parking in violation of the ban is $100, and vehicles can also be towed. The city encourages you to use its interactive real-time snow map this winter to keep up with its plowing operations. You can check plow routes on the Know Your Zone app by using the online address lookup tool or by calling 311. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now. Not exactly snow in the forecast, but...
Well,
oh, there is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so I was just focused on how cold it is out there, but you've got all kinds of fun stuff to tell us about, apparently.
A little bit of everything. Just not warm temperatures anymore. No, we haven't seen daytime highs this cold in Winnipeg in many, many months. We'll look a little bit more closely at that later on, too. But we're in between 2 clipper systems. We had that clipper that zipped through yesterday with a little bit of snow. Hit the repeat button. That is going to see more snow come our way starting tonight and throughout the day tomorrow to various parts of the province. I will show you where coming up, but for now, let's take a look through that Bath Fitter Live. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Not a typo, folks. It is minus 20 degrees out there. Clear with the wind chill. It feels like minus 27. Winds out of the west-southwest at 10 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising, and the humidity right now merrily is 74%.
Thanks, Colleen. An officer has been cleared of wrongdoing in the shooting of a woman on the Trans-Canada Highway this spring. The incident happened May 12th near Carberry. The independent investigation unit, citing interviews with a number of witnesses and officers, found the 54-year-old woman was walking among traffic, climbing onto vehicles and slashing them with a knife. The report says she was shot 4 times after sprinting towards a responding officer still carrying the knife. She later told the IIU the officer was in the right and said she was, quote, a threat to society. Thousands of needles, hundreds of weapons, pipes, even drug bags have been collected from city parks in and around the downtown area since spring. This is according to a new report from the Public Service. It says since April, a crew assigned to clean up 16 sites has found more than 6,300 needles, 177 weapons, mostly knives, nearly 1,300 pipes, and more than 600 drug baggies. The most needle-ridden site was Fort Douglas Park, followed by Assiniboine Riverwalk and Central Park. The report says the cleanup project was a success and is expected to continue until at least 2028. A Winnipeg councillor has put forward a motion that could one day lead to a designated area for those experiencing homelessness to set up camp. Councillor Cindy Gilroy's motion asked the Public Service to identify possible locations and costs for a site as early as this spring. It would include garbage bins, portable washrooms, modest cleaning services, and on-site outreach staff to help connect people with social services or more permanent housing. The motion is partly in response to the city's new bylaw prohibiting encampments near areas such as parks and playgrounds. Councillors will consider the motion next week. A warning tonight to those living in Niverville. Keep your pets away from dead birds. Dozens of dead geese were found frozen to the ice on a town retention pond. And a federal biologist says that die-off is confirmed to be avian flu. As CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports, it's just the latest incident since October. And a warning, the video you're about to see is graphic in nature.
It's pretty crazy to see this many dead birds out on the pond here.
Niverville resident Mason Goulet says seeing so many dead geese when he came home from work on Tuesday was shocking.
Over the past couple of weeks, the numbers have been going up more and more. So you come home yesterday and there was actually one dead on right on our deck there.
Goulet says this latest die-off is the largest he has seen since October, when he started to notice more dead birds around. Take a look at the pond behind his house. He suspects avian flu may be to blame.
There's now about 30 or 40 as of the past couple of days here, so it's spreading pretty quickly now.
And that suspicion was confirmed Wednesday by a federal biologist. Frank Baldwin with the Canadian Wildlife Service says these geese died due to the current strain of avian influenza virus.
Specifically, it's associated with the high pathogenicity strain of the virus. So that's been confirmed through the provincial vet lab.
Baldwin says parts of southern Manitoba have been hit hard by the virus, and he says officials have been picking up birds who have died from avian flu in Niverville since mid-October. He says it doesn't take much for the virus to spread.
Really what's happening is they mingle with ducks, and then when we get cold weather, they get highly concentrated, and the virus moves through the population very quickly.
Hannah Wallace studies infectious diseases like avian influenza at the University of Manitoba Kindrachuk Lab. She says the disease has been deadly for birds over the last 4 years.
Geese are a natural reservoir for influenza, so they do get infected. That's not surprising, but it is a little bit surprising to see so many fatalities at one time.
The Manitoba Wildlife Branch told CTV News the department has tested about 726 geese this year, and 54 geese have tested positive. Wallace says there is low risk to humans, but pets need to be kept away from dead birds. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The town of Niverville didn't respond to our request for an interview. The province is encouraging you to contact its tip line if you come across deceased geese. That number is on your screen, 1-800-782-0076. A Manitoba pharmacist has pled guilty to professional misconduct over an inappropriate relationship with a vulnerable patient. The complaints center around Michael Watts, who was working as a manager of Brothers Pharmacy on Selkirk Avenue at the time. He was accused of entering into an inappropriate relationship with a vulnerable patient between February of 2022 and June 2022, as well as between 2021 and 2022. Watts pled guilty in June and was ordered to pay a $7,500 fine, along with another $15,000 for the cost of the investigation and hearing. Watts now works at a pharmacy in Thompson and told CTV News his lawyer has advised him to give no comment. Brothers Pharmacy, now known as Northway Pharmacy Brothers, tells CTV it has not had a professional relationship with Watts in more than 3 years. Well, put on your toques and gloves and be sure to bring a tin or two for the bin. The CPKC holiday train is rolling into Winnipeg tonight. The festive train, featuring live music performances and thousands of colored lights, is scheduled to stop here in Winnipeg at 9:15 p.m. You can catch it at the grade crossing at Panet Road and Molson Street. Singers Jade Eagleson and Tegan Gaze will entertain the crowd at the Winnipeg stop from the brightly decorated train stage. CPKC donates to local food banks at each stop and is encouraging everyone who attends to make a monetary or heart-healthy food donation. On December 5th, the holiday train will head west for stops in Portage La Prairie, Neepawa, and Minnedosa. Still to come tonight, a tale of two cities.
Some of our vendors do try as well to absorb it for a while, but ultimately they pass it on to us.
CTV News travels to towns on both sides of the Canada-U.S. border to hear firsthand about the impacts of tariffs. That's next.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil gained 31 cents. The Canadian dollar added 0.2 of a cent. Gold is up $11. The TSX rose 111 points. The Dow Jones climbed 408 points, while the Nasdaq finished the day 40 points higher. Hudson's Bay has chosen the new owners of the royal charter that created the company more than 350 years ago. The Thompson and Weston families emerged with an uncontested $18 million bid for the 1670 document and will donate it to a group of 4 museums. The purchase is subject to court approval as part of the Hudson Bay insolvency proceedings. When the deal does close, the families plan to donate the charter immediately and permanently to the Archives of Manitoba, the Manitoba Museum, the Canadian Museum of History in Gatineau, Quebec, and the Royal Ontario Museum. They will also donate another $5 million to support the charter's preservation and help maintain public access to the document. U.S. tariffs have forced layoffs, creating tough days ahead for Algoma Steel and the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Just across the border is the Twin City, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, a place that prides itself on having a bond with its northern neighbor, which transcends politics. CTV's Heather Wright looks into whether that city is also feeling the pain.
The Sault Ste. Marie International Bridge spans 4.5 kilometers, connecting the two Saults on either side of the St. Mary's River. Two cities, two countries facing similar challenges.
Definitely, there's been a pinch.
Jennifer Riatoir owns The Mole Hole, a shop that caters to both locals and visitors, though fewer Canadians are stopping by these days.
I'm sure the tariffs did not help, but I did already notice a drop because of the exchange rate.
Riatoir has been in business for more than a decade, but in the last year, she's watched as her margins have been squeezed thanks to tariffs.
Some of our vendors do try as well to absorb it for a while, but ultimately they pass it on to us. We absorb what we can, but we also can't absorb everything. There's just not enough room for it, and so everybody pays for tariffs.
While tariffs are most acutely felt on imported hard goods, prices have also risen at the grocery store.
Everything is going higher, and we're doing okay, but I think there's a lot of less fortunate people that have to really struggle, and I don't know how they make ends meet.
It's a struggle Dan Trevisanute is trying to help with. He's a barber in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and is offering discounted pricing to all Algoma employees as his way to give back.
It's the least I can do. And a little bit of affordability to offer these people dignity, because they'll be looking for jobs, and there'll be a lot of people just going to be in a bad way.
An increase in social service needs was expected here in Sault Ste. Marie before the layoffs, a need that is only expected to grow now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Ottawa is promising another $235 million for Ukraine.
Canada, alongside several allies, will purchase a package of military capabilities under the Pearl program.
Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is in Brussels meeting with other NATO ministers to talk about the U.S. peace plan for Ukraine and Russia. Yesterday's talks with U.S. and Russian officials at the Kremlin produced no results. Despite Donald Trump's push to buy American, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, is set to spend millions of dollars on a fleet of armored vehicles made by a Canadian defense manufacturer. The rush order with Canadian firm Rochelle came in late last month and is worth the equivalent of 10 million Canadian dollars. CTV's Rachel Aiello has been digging into that contract and has the details.
20 armored vehicles made by this Brampton-based defense manufacturer are set to be delivered to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement before the end of the year. According to U.S. procurement documents, Rochelle is uniquely positioned to deliver what ICE agents require within the necessary time frame and confirmed immediate availability of vehicles that fully meet ICE specifications. Asked if the federal government has any concerns about the deal with the U.S. department accused of abusing human rights as it deploys U.S. President Donald Trump's mass deportation efforts, the foreign minister didn't say.
The government is not involved in the transaction. We have not received any questions or permit requests regarding this transaction. And I will continue to reiterate that Canada and the United States have a strong bilateral relationship with an open line of communication in which, if necessary, I will raise the issues with Secretary Rubio.
Rochelle's made-in-Canada armored vehicles have been sent to the front lines in Ukraine. And while this contract comes despite Trump's America First edict, the Canadian company did set up an American factory last year, and it remains unclear where the specific emergency response vehicles ICE has ordered are originating. CTV News asked Rochelle and the ICE office responsible for procurement for comment. Neither responded by deadline. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
We are getting a rare look at the private Caribbean island that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein owned. This is the property where Epstein is alleged to have trafficked young girls and had secret parties with high-profile individuals. These images were taken in 2020 by local authorities showing various areas in his home in the U.S. Virgin Islands and were released today by House Democrats. The move comes ahead of a December 19th deadline for the U.S. Department of Justice to release its Epstein files. To the Middle East now, where Hamas says it's handed over the body of one of the last two deceased October 7th hostages after it was found in Gaza. The armed wing of the Hamas-allied Palestinian Islamic Jihad group says it found the body after carrying out a search in northern Gaza. This after Israel says remains handed over yesterday did not belong to a hostage. The handover of the final bodies would complete a key condition in the U.S.-backed ceasefire. Israel has promised to open the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt in the coming days in a sign it's moving ahead with parts of the peace plan. The death toll in last week's devastating high-rise complex fire in Hong Kong has risen to 159 as mourners continue to gather at the scene.
The entire population in Hong Kong would love to have the truth and the justice to be told.
Neighbors laid flowers at the memorial site as police continue to search through the charred building. Nearly 30 people remain missing and recovery efforts could take weeks. 15 people have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter and 12 have been arrested in a corruption investigation. Authorities say substandard plastic mesh and insulation foam used during renovation work fueled the rapid spread of the deadly blaze. A masked bandit who broke into a Virginia liquor store and downed a large amount of booze didn't make it very far. Police were called to a break-in and found all these bottles of alcohol smashed all over the floor. They weren't entirely sure who the culprit was until they found him passed out in the bathroom. That masked bandit, a raccoon. Animal Protection removed the trashed animal. Officials say he eventually sobered up and was safely released.
It cannot be overstated the impact that this incident had on my family.
A small town election, alleged death threats, and artificial intelligence? Needless to say, it is the talk of the town. We'll explain when we return.
By the time we get to Friday, to start off the long-range forecast for Winnipeg, more or less a cloudy day with a high of -10. And then look at the weekend. Pretty chilly. -17 on Saturday is our high temperature under a mix of sun and cloud. Then we drop to -25 degrees Saturday night, up to -16 for a high Sunday. A chance of flurries. Similar conditions Monday, Tuesday. The temperatures getting a little less cold, peaking at -10 by the time we get to Tuesday.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Police have charged a small-town Ontario politician with uttering death threats after she was allegedly caught up in a lie. Clarington councillor Karina Trail originally claimed a menacing voicemail against a future mayoral candidate was an AI fake. CTV's Adrian Gabriel is in Bowmanville, Ontario, to help us understand this new development.
It's an eye-opening story that CTV News has been covering for months. A local councillor here in Clarington, Ontario, just east of Toronto, Karina Trail, has been charged with uttering threats. Former police officer Tom Dingwall has been eyeing a run to become the mayor of Clarington. In August, he received a disturbing voicemail allegedly from Councillor Trail. He claims the woman's voice warned him to stay out of next year's election or else she would come to his house and kill him and sexually assault his wife. The voice also said that Dingwall should support a rival candidate. Dingwall says he received a second voicemail, allegedly from Trail, apologizing for her initial message. However, when the allegations came to light, Councillor Trail publicly claimed that portions of the voicemail were her voice, but other parts were artificially generated with AI.
This threat was an attempt at election interference and an attempt to keep me from running in next year's mayoral election. There's no room for violence or threats of violence in politics. It cannot be overstated the impact that this incident had on my family and in particular my wife.
Each of the voicemails were shared with police, which have led to the current charges. We've reached out to Councillor Trail. We're still awaiting a response. Needless to say, this story is the talk of the town. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Clarington, Ontario.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady is back with your very cold Skywatch forecast. Boy, what a shocker when you step outside today.
And all the more now that we're into December, too. I mean, we had a good long run, folks, of those nice mild temperatures. That's done, as you can see, too. That's not coming back anytime soon. Those long-range forecasts, particularly those overnight lows, it is going to be very cold. It is right now. Now, I took a look at this. Today, we got to -16 degrees. That was the highest temperature out at the airport. The last time the temperatures were this cold during the day here in Winnipeg, well, you have to go all the way back to February 19th. On that day, our maximum temperature was -17.2. So there you go. It is meteorological winter after all. Tonight, quite bitterly cold across much of the province, particularly up in the north. But unlike last night, there is no cold warning in effect. We did have a cold warning in the most northern parts of the province this morning, where the wind chills felt as cold as -45. But it will be another cold night in that region. Having said that, some temperatures will be rising throughout the night in the north with this incoming low pressure system I'm about to show you. But first, quick look at northwestern Ontario. A little bit of light cloud cover here and there, but for the most part, is on the clear side and on the cold side as well. So not much happens in the next few hours, but we're watching this next round of snow. This is the next clipper, and like I've been talking about so often, clippers tend to move very quickly, and you'll see this in just a moment. Once we get to around midnight or 1, that's when the first of the snow should start to make its way into the northwest, and then quickly over the next few hours, it just drops right down through central regions and into the southwest. Now, it looks like the timing could be a lot like it was for Winnipeg yesterday, where it was the tail end end of the commute around mid-morning when that snow first started to make its way into Winnipeg and the Red River Valley. Similar forecast amounts as well, anywhere from 2 to 4 centimeters, not just here in the city, but generally with this system coming through, at least as far as southern Manitoba is concerned. But northwest, you won't see significant amounts of snow there either, nor will you in northwestern Ontario, but it will move off into your region throughout the course of the day. Now we get into the night ahead, some clearing, but then another round of snow will start to make its way across the province as well, taking us into Friday. It swings on through pretty quickly. Now tonight we're at about -20 already. We shouldn't drop much further. Clouds increase overnight, as do the winds a little bit. Snow is possible for the commute. Otherwise, mid-morning it should be starting to fall. -16 for the commute, and then again 2 to 4 centimeters possible on the way to a high of -7. And for a few hours, the winds will be pretty strong and gusty. I'll have your provincial forecast coming up a little later on in the newscast, but for now, let's take a look at our beautiful Skywatch picks of the day, shall we? This first one takes us to Rainy Lake. A gorgeous shot. Look at those colors. That photo was taken by Doug. Very nice there. Very reflective. And this is a nice shot too. This is from Dwayne up in Island Lake, Manitoba. Send us your weather photos by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Christmas lights are a big part of Christmas decorating. However, some of those outdoor lights only seem to last a year or two, but there are ways to get them working again. CTV's Pat Foran has some tips.
Some homes are already decked out for the holidays, and some homeowners spare no expense to have their properties look great for the festive season.
It never seems to fail. Every year when I do my Christmas and holiday lights, there always seems to be at least 1 or 2 strings that don't work, and it's hard to know when should you fix them and when should you throw them out.
Number 1 rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Kyle Tobin of Christmas Lights Toronto says his company has been decorating homes for the past 35 years. He says, unfortunately, many holiday lights are not built to last.
The problem is that consumer lights, retail version lights, are not designed to withstand more than 1 or 2 seasons, whereas commercial grade lights are meant to be replaceable. Parts can be retrofitted so that they can be maintained to last many years.
Tobin says wet, freezing temperatures are also hard on outdoor lights.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits of things that make a light strand disposable.
If you have a strand that won't light, there are 2 fuses behind a small door on the plug. Replacing them with fuses that came with your original set or that you purchased separately could fix the problem.
If this doesn't fix it, there's a good chance you need to throw out your lights. Plug her in, and if it works, then you've probably solved the problem.
Also check bulbs for corrosion.
When this corrosion happens from moisture getting in and age, you develop something that's going to interrupt the flow of electricity.
A recap: 4 common fixes for burnt-out string lights. Replace the fuses, swap burnt-out bulbs, check bulbs and the cord for damage, and if bulbs are rust-colored and the wire is brittle and frayed, recycle the lights and get a new set. Tobin says using damaged lights is not worth the fire risk, as you want to be sure you have a safe holiday season. Pat Foran, CTV News.
We are seeing now significant influenza activity.
It's not just the winter season, it's also flu season. Up next, we'll get the latest from the province's Chief Provincial Public Health Officer. Manitoba researchers are building a satellite that will go to a place where no other Canadian spacecraft has ever gone before, the moon's orbit. The University of Manitoba's Starlab team, alongside Magellan Aerospace, is developing a satellite called a CubeSat. And the director at Starlab, Philip Ferguson, joins me now to talk more about the mission at hand. Philip, good to speak with you.
Great to be here, thanks.
Something like this has never been done before. How challenging is this task in front of you?
Well, it's incredibly challenging. I mean, anytime that we send anything to another planet or a moon is a difficult day. I mean, the moon looks so close when we look at it in the sky, and yet it's so difficult to get to. And this is, like you say, this will be the first ever Canadian satellite to orbit the moon, which is astounding. It's taken us this long, but we're thrilled to be a part of it.
So what have you come up with so far? Tell us about your CubeSat.
Yeah, so this CubeSat is called Mapper, and what it's going to be doing is shortly after we get released into lunar orbit, we'll be releasing a small dart, or this impactor, that will travel down to the surface of the moon and take measurements all the way down, and then ultimately take measurements from the lunar surface. And then while it's falling down, our satellite in orbit around the moon will be watching it, tracking where it lands, and then taking pictures while it's landing using a multispectral imager developed by the University of Winnipeg and Dr. Ed Clutis. And we will be collecting data for the first time ever from what it looks like when an impactor smashes into the surface of the moon, kicks up a bunch of dust, and hopefully tells us about how we can one day live on the moon and maybe Mars.
Yeah, tell me, explain a bit to me about, what we could learn from the data this CubeSat collects and what it could mean for future space exploration.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the lunar regolith, or what we call regolith, which is really just the lunar dirt, has a lot of different compounds in it that we may one day be able to use as a fuel so that we can use the moon as a stepping stone to other planets. But we also want to learn how to live on the moon, so we could find different compounds in there that we could transfer into oxygen or water that astronauts could live off of. So understanding the origins of that soil and what we could use that soil for in the future as we as humans continue to explore the solar system is a massive stepping stone for us, both figuratively and literally as well.
Yeah. When do you hope to launch?
Well, so we're looking towards the end of 2027 and probably maybe into the beginning of 2028. We're working with NASA on this. NASA has put together a commercial program where they're buying tickets basically to the moon, and the Canadian Space Agency, Magellan, and now the University of Manitoba as well. We have tickets to ride to the moon with NASA.
Very cool. Well, Philip, we trust you to take us along with you. Keep us up to date. Always exciting speaking with you and the work being done at Star Lab.
Thank you so much. Thrilled to be a part of it.
An outbreak of Salmonella infections linked to pistachios has made its way to Manitoba. An update from the Public Health Agency of Canada shows 3 confirmed illnesses here in our province linked to Salmonella from consuming pistachios or products containing them. Across the country, there have been a total of 155 cases. 24 people were hospitalized, though no one has died. The PHAC notes these are only the lab-confirmed cases, adding the actual number of sick people in Canada is likely much higher. The first notification of Salmonella contamination in pistachios was issued by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency on July 24th. Since then, the CFIA has issued almost 70 separate recall advisories of products containing potentially contaminated pistachios. More details are available at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The holiday season is upon us, which means shopping in busy malls, work parties, and family gatherings, some of the perfect places to spread the flu. Health officials are seeing a spike in reported influenza cases across the country, including here in Manitoba. According to the province's respiratory virus surveillance report, 29 people with the flu were admitted to hospital. Of that number, 3 are being treated in the intensive care unit, and 1 person died last month.
We are seeing now significant influenza activity. So last few weeks we've been seeing a consistently increasing numbers, increasing test positivity for influenza, and that's influenza A. The H3N2 is the predominant subtype that we're seeing now.
Chief Provincial Public Health Officer Dr. Brent Raccoon says a strain of the virus that circulated in Australia is also here in Manitoba, and it may not be a great match for the vaccine available. Still, he says it doesn't change the province's messaging. Raccoon says the best way to protect yourself is to get the flu shot. The city of San Francisco has filed a lawsuit against some of the nation's top food manufacturers, arguing ultra-processed food is responsible for a public health crisis.
Like the tobacco industry, they knew their products make people very sick, but hid the truth from the public, profited from untold billions, and left Americans to deal with the consequences.
10 companies are named in the lawsuit, including PepsiCo, Kraft Heinz Company, General Mills, and Kellogg. Ultra-processed foods include candy, chips, processed meats, sodas, and other foods the city's attorney general says is designed to stimulate cravings and encourage overconsumption. The lawsuit seeks a court order preventing the companies from deceptive marketing and financial penalties to help local governments with healthcare costs. None of the companies named in the suit immediately responded to requests for comment.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
The CTV Spotlight is next.
I'm leaving now, I better pack. Katie's took my mom, I'm taking her back. And I'm coming with you.
Catching Lightning in a Bottle, how a popular novel is being reimagined for the stage.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Took, All-Star Canadian Classic Rock.
Percy Jackson novels are bestsellers. They've been adapted into a successful movie and a popular TV series. And soon, the first novel, The Lightning Thief, will be hitting a stage here in Winnipeg.
I'm leaving now, I better pack. Katie's took my mom, I'm taking her back. And I'm coming with you.
And as you just heard, The Lightning Thief is a musical, and this week you will be able to see it at Manitoba Theatre for Young People. The show follows Percy Jackson, who recently discovered he's the son of a Greek god. Percy and his demigod friends set out on a quest to find Zeus's missing lightning bolt and hopefully prevent a war. MTYP says it's a musical the whole family can enjoy.
I think a lot of young people and, grown-ups as well relate a lot to this character of Percy who doesn't fit in and doesn't know where they are, what their place is in the world, and what parents' influences and wanting to have their parents' love and approval.
The Lightning Thief will be at Manitoba Theatre for Young People from Friday, December 5th to the 28th. Tickets are available online at mtyp.ca. A premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival is something many budding Canadian filmmakers aspire to. And Winnipeg animator is getting the rare distinction of making his professional debut at the festival.
On savait qu'on avait des racines métisses, mais
That's Là où nos fleurs poussent, a short film by Maxime Kornichuk. It's also the film that got him selected for a program by the National Film Board of Canada to help cultivate the next generation of filmmakers. He and 4 others will be creating their own short films about what it means to be Canadian or Indigenous, which will be screened at TIFF 2026.
We start production very, very soon just for everything, and we've reached out to people. It's another story about Métis people, and this one's more open to the community this time. So it's already kind of talking with people, figuring out how it's going to look, how everything's going to work.
Kornichuk's film, which got him selected, followed his own family's history and their trepidation to explore their own Métis identity. His animation style is even inspired by traditional Métis beadwork. TIFF takes place in mid-September. Spotify has unveiled its trends for 2025 for the top songs and artists of the year.
Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now.
Drake was the most streamed artist in Canada, followed by Taylor Swift. Ordinary by Alex Warren was the top song in Canada, while Wallen's I'm the Problem was the top album, and Bad Bunny was the top global artist for a 4th time. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars's hit Die With a Smile was the top song. It was streamed more than 1.7 billion times. And by Wallen, of course, I mean Morgan Wallen. Your Wednesday night lineup starts at 7 with Shifting Gears, followed by Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. At 8:30, catch The Amazing Race. And The Floor is on at 10. It is all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
An icy cold bath. Why executives from a local insurance company took part in a dunk tank today.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
And here is a look at your provincial forecast heading up to the northeast. Now, Churchill, pretty strong winds this evening means watch out for blowing snow, but those winds will ease up tonight. You drop down to -25. Pretty much stay still there tomorrow. Now, Thompson, this incoming Clipper may just graze your city. Outside chance, otherwise cloudy, -23. Sunny there with a high of -16 degrees. Island Lake, you'll get some of that light snow tomorrow, -14. Speaking of that Clipper system, the snow will move in across the northwest late tonight. Temperatures rising throughout the night with the advance of that system. And then tomorrow, the snow should wrap up for you either late morning or early afternoon. In the southwest tonight, look for snow to start falling again late tonight or overnight through Swan River down into Dauphin. Swan River, you'll actually see temperatures rise to around -12. No rising temperatures in Dauphin, down to -22, -21 overnight in Brandon. Snow gets to that city by early tomorrow morning. The Wheat City, of course, it'll last for a few hours there. You see much more moderate temperatures. Tonight, cloudy for most of us here in the southeast, except for Clear and Sprague. Overnight lows pretty much where they are right now, around -20, -21 degrees. Snow arrives tomorrow morning with temperatures much more moderate, and in northwestern Ontario, partly cloudy tonight. That snow gets to you tomorrow, but you could see 5 to 10 centimeters.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, if you've even been outside for a second or two today, you know how cold it is. Most people bundled up wearing jackets trying to stay warm, but not everyone. Definitely not her. Nope. That is one of the leaders from Wawanesa Insurance being submerged in a dunk tank. This isn't a polar bear challenge. The company executives actually pledged to do a dunk tank today if employees helped it meet its United Way campaign goal. And by the looks of just how busy this dunk tank was, it looks like those workers clearly delivered.
Yes. This is just a moment for us to demonstrate how Winnipeg organizations care so much about being here for one another, and Wawanesa proved that today.
You can see how cold it is by his breath there in the video. The dunk challenge clearly motivated the company. Wawanesa says it achieved its highest ever employee participation rate. And with the company matching dollar for dollar, more than $1.6 million is being donated to the United Way in support of all the agencies that helps out across Canada. So job well done by all. Sometimes you gotta do the cold dunk to
take one for the team. So, yes.
Those employees really enjoyed seeing that happen, though.
They really did. Very interesting.
All right. Have a good night.